the Xiaomi Mi CC9 Pro. It's also known as the Mi Note 10 in some global markets. It comes with 5 cameras to the back, and it's not just the fact that there are 5 cameras here that makes this a camera powerhouse, but it's the fact that the optics here on this phone are rated quite highly. In fact, the CC9 Pro tops DXOMark scores as of now. Admittedly, that is the special edition, but the base edition that we have here, it has almost the same camera setup, with the only difference being a 7-element lens for the primary instead of an 8-element lens on the special edition. So in today's video, let's take a close look at these optics and see how good they actually are. Hey guys, Ash here from C4E Tech, and if you do end up liking what you see in this video, please consider turning on notifications by hitting that bell icon. So let's now get this video started. So first, let's start with that shiny new primary sensor. This is Samsung's ISOCELL Bright HMX. It's a whopping 108 megapixel sensor, and it's not just the megapixel count. Physically, it's a huge sensor. At 1 by 1.33 inches, this is a big sensor. It's paired with the f1.69 lens. There is 4-axis OIS, there's laser assist for autofocus, there's face detection autofocus. The pictures that you're seeing here, they were shot in the auto mode, and in this mode, the sensor still shoots 27 megapixels. That's a lot of detail, and we can see that when we zoom in, like here in the close-up of this pony. And that's again visible in this shot with the skulls. The dynamic range, it's pretty good too. Now, it was a pretty cloudy, grey, rainy day at Yeliguri where I shot these pictures, but still there was ample detail in the shadows. When we zoom in, you can actually see the bird sitting here in the shadows. This image should give you an idea of the kind of day it was. By the way, these were shot with AI scene detection on. Leaving that on kind of drives up the saturation. If you want more natural colors, you can leave it off, and then you'd get results like what you're seeing here. Now switching over to the 108 megapixel mode, the photo sizes here are huge. They vary anywhere between 15 to 25 plus MB per image compared to about 8 to 10 MB for the 27 megapixel ones. Zoom in and you can definitely notice the crisper images, more detail here, the teeth in the shot, the extra detail is definitely visible. That said, when the pixels are packed so close to each other, colors they kind of tend to bleed into each other, and that can lead to what we call chromatic aberration or purple fringing. That's really evident in this example. Look at the purple tinge on the bars. Now that said, it's not too noticeable at all times, and there is a lot of detail to be gained, so there are pros and cons to going 108 megapixels. It's again visible, the pros, the extra detail is visible in this shot. Anyway, that said, next let's move on to the next sensor on the list. It's a 20 megapixel sensor paired with a wide angle lens. It's got a 117 degree field of view. The aperture here is f2.2. This lens has autofocus, which is not something we commonly see with wide angle shooters, even in the premium segment. So I appreciate that. The colors are fine, the dynamic range dips a bit, but that is to be expected. Overall, I found the performance above average, and so were the detail levels. Next, we have a 12 megapixel sensor paired with the f2 telephoto lens. This one makes for 2x optical zoom and is mainly meant for portraits. The portraits, they turned out quite nicely. The edge reduction seemed fine. The 2x optical here acts as an intermediary between the regular and 5x options. So guys, with phones that only have, let's say, a 5x optical zoom option, when you go from regular to 5x, let's say you're at 3x, then there's a lot of software zoom that's happening, right? There's a lot of software cropping and interpolation that's going on, and you lose detail. Now this 2x optical zoom here, it acts as a nice little middle point. So if you see here, we go from regular to 2x and 2x to 5x optical. This is a 5 megapixel sensor paired with the f2 lens, by the way. That's again a telephoto, but this one makes for 5x optical zoom. And then we take a look at the 10x hybrid and 50x digital. Now it's worth noting that the lens here is optically stabilized and helps with longer exposure, especially when you're shooting 5x zoom. Even the slightest of shakes, it kind of reflects. So having OIS is really helpful. Now here are the 6 options side by side. And hey, the 50x is quite smudged out, but what else can you expect? It is 50x after all. The final sensor on this Penta camera setup is a 2 megapixel macro option. Despite just being 2 megapixels, it seems to do better than most of the competition. We can get pretty close to the subject. And what else can I say? It is a macro option, and we've been seeing a lot of these recently. This happens to be one of the better ones, as I find the processing here to be cleaner than with other implementations that we've seen in the past. The hardware itself, with the 1.75 micron sized pixels, it seems to be better. Under low light, the primary 108 megapixel Samsung ISOCELL Bright HMX combines with that wide f1.69 aperture lens, MIUI's new night mode algorithms, and optical stabilization to provide amazing pictures. The low light performance is brilliant. These shots, they were taken before dawn, on the way uphill. It was so foggy, we couldn't even make out what was ahead, just a few feet ahead in front of us. I'll show you a video of that really soon. But despite that, the night mode here, it let me capture images like this. The performance was really good. With regular low light conditions, getting well exposed and detailed shots like these shouldn't be an issue at all with the CC9 Pro. Now, if there is one letdown with these cameras for me, it's got to be the lack of 4K 60 FPS. But that's not an issue with the camera hardware itself, but more of a chip limitation. The 4K 30 footage though, just look at it. The footage seems super stable, and that's all thanks to the 4-axis OIS. And even under night conditions, on a bike, under thick fog, we were still able to get reasonably good footage like this. So the cameras, they're quite good for both stills and video. And here's the fun clip that you saw at the start. That's the selfie camera. We can get well detailed 1080p footage with this. Crisp, great colors, very natural. So overall, when it comes to the CC9 Pro or the Mi Note 10, it might not be a flagship in terms of the chip that we have on the inside, but Xiaomi seems to have indeed delivered a flagship camera experience here. The cameras, they seem really good, and the DXOMark top spot seems to be well deserved. I'm impressed with what Xiaomi have managed to pull off. Now, what about you guys? What do you think of the cameras here? Would you want to see them in India? Would you want to see this phone end up in India? Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. And if it does end up, what price would you think would be fair for this? And would you actually pick one up for yourself? Again, leave a comment below. And with that, we get to the end of this video. Also, let me know, would you want to see this cameras compared with any other phone? If yes, which phone's cameras? I'll try to do a camera comparison if you guys want to see. So I guess that's pretty much it. Thumbs up, thumbs down based on whatever you felt about this video. Subscribe, turn on notifications by hitting that bell icon if you haven't yet. Thanks a lot for watching. Till next time, my name's Ash. You've been watching C4D Tech, and I'm signing off for now. You guys have a great day. Bye-bye.